All right, gamers, it's time for the RGH podcast. I have two of the absolute hottest gamers I've ever seen. Hold on, shut this damn music up. Shut this music up. We got to get into the real gamer hour stuff. I'm Mtashed. I'm here with KackisHD and True Vanguard. And every Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, we do this gamer podcast. We've got some real hot topics. Boys, what are we talking about today?
We got some real hot gamers up here. That's what we got.
Yep. Everyone in chat is looking real nice. I'm not going to
Oh
lie.
my gosh, look at y'all.
Yep. They're flooding in. They're flooding in. We got a 200 viewers and we just started. We just pressed the button. And I know it's because CYBERPUNK got delayed. Halo Infinite in trouble? Twitch stealing our tips? What the heck?
Beyond not mine, baby.
Not yours. This guy got a big brain.
Feeling smart,
right? Beyond Light, huge news and Vidoc released. But here's one that I think I'm the most excited. We're gonna save it to the end. Anthem is making a comeback? But not so much question mark. It looks really cool. So we're gonna get into that later on. This is going to be a really fun episode. It might go a little bit longer, and I'm not going to lie, I'm excited. I missed my boys. I haven't seen you guys all week.
The real gamer hour and a half, yeah. Well, hey, let's hit the ground running, man. That Vidoc from Bungie this week, I mean, that was way more than I expected. Like, I really thought it was just going to focus on, hey, here's Europa, the new space, and some of the work that went into it, and give us some inklings about the story that we're going to be pursuing there. But they went beyond that. I mean, they were way beyond that. They went and I didn't expect them to bring out the Aldrin storyline. I didn't expect that. I didn't expect to see a new hunter of interest on the Cosmodrome. I mean, they really went in with that. And we got to see some stuff like clips from the Omnigul strike, which we all are very familiar with that specific. I mean, it was no coincidence. They showed that specific room, that specific little turning point that you go up the hill, because that's where we killed Omnigul over and over and over again.
Yeah.
But I gotta say, let me ask this. If you guys could just pick out one thing that stood out to you the most, I'm gonna go ahead and say for me, one of the things that stood out to me the most in that Vidoc was actually the weather systems on Europa. We have never seen them do anything like that before, where there's an actual weather system on a destination that's gonna be changing, and it'll change the landscape and the way that you interact with that area. Like, having inclement weather is something we've not seen before in the Destiny franchise. I'm actually really excited about a dynamic environment.
Now, this is something that I actually picked out when I did a trailer review long before it was even announced, because I'm paying attention. And if you spend the long ass time to watch my videos, guess what? You're gonna learn more than anyone else. All right. And this is something that, like, you just would, I noticed it in a normal trailer. I was like, wow, like, this guy has got a weapon. And we actually have a lot of weapons in Destiny that have sights with target acquisition. A great example is like the 7th Seraph weapons, right? The 7th Seraph auto rifle, you aim down sights, the enemies will glow. And he had a somewhat of a similar weapon. The red weapons coming to Europa have the same effect. And he zooms down sights, and like before he does it, you cannot see these enemies. Then he does it, and then you can. And I'm like, wow, like, this is actually something where, you know, you might have to think about something you've never had to think about before, which is like actual visibility. It's like, okay, maybe I want to use this scope so I can actually see my target.
Right? Or like maybe I run on a Night Stalker so I can track them, or use Foe Tracer. Like, I think it opens some doors to different exotics. And, you know, I would love to see a lot of the places we've been at with some nice rain, changing the effects and getting the different lighting with the rain, like any sort of weather pattern or weather effect. I think it adds a little bit of mood to the game, and it makes some of the spaces you've been in maybe feel a little different. I'll tell you what I think I'm most excited for, and I don't know why, it just hit me, is the fact that Aldrin's back as this crow character, and he has no idea what's going on. And like, if you watch the trailer, he full on like samurai ninja sneaks up and slays one of those Hive Knights. And I'm wondering, maybe like a ninja subclass down the road, you know,
now,
maybe, you know,
can I say, you're not as crazy as you might think, because
really
something else your boy caught, and this was like very quick. If you notice, okay, so the way that the subclasses are laid out, right? Okay, so you have your subclass nodes here, and then you have the 2 extra nodes. So if you're on Gunslinger, then you got the Arc and Void off to the corner, right?
Yeah.
And I think we all kind of assumed that you have your main class and then Arc solar, and then darkness. It's just another little node, but instead it's on the complete other side, like it's over here, right? And when you actually saw him scroll over in inventory, it said switch to darkness subclasses, plural. Not subclass, subclass is. And then when they switched, as he was going, he like barely hovered over it again, and it said switch back to like switch to light subclasses. Again, plural. Now, of course, we have plural light subclasses, but the fact that they already have this UI where it's like darkness subclasses, and again, it was plural in the trailer, and then light subclasses, and you can switch back with his own button. I was like, dude, the way this UI is set up, and the way that
the new tree
in plural, yeah, I was like, this would 1000% make sense if they're planning on adding more darkness subclasses. Like right now, we have stasis, kind of like ice. They could have, like Tash said, like ninja, kind of poison. We think of the thorn and the hive having like a poison subclass and stuff like that.
Yeah,
necrotic grips, like we've always had this like poison theme around there. So
that's
I think that'd
be so cool.
And think about it. There's 3 light subclasses. We're getting 1 new one.
Symmetry, baby.
There's 2 more big fall expansions already announced, culminating in this big story. Could we be getting 1 more subclass in the other 2 ones? And then Lightfall, we get our final subclass, and we have 6 subclasses, 3 light, 3 dark. And that's our like completed rounded Guardian.
Yeah, the idea of having a Destiny that is so diverse is really appealing to me. I gotta say, like just having 1 more subclass come into the mix back in the day when the Taken King dropped, and we got 1 more sub, that was a big deal, and it really just started to open up Destiny into more possibilities, more build potential, more synergy with different aspects of the game. Like to have the option to now have a separate side of subclasses and maybe even 3 more there down the road, like this game is just gonna get so much depth.
You know what's something I'm excited for is in Path of Exile, with a lot of the ice classes or like the ice abilities, you freeze them, and there's kind of like a thing where they call it like the pop, where you freeze those enemies and then just pop everything. You cast an ability and you just see everything, shrapnel and die. I think that's going to be so satisfying, hitting that perfect nade on 50 thralls and then just kadoo, like with a Titan sliding in or
the
something.
The cool thing is like these subclasses affect every part of the game, right? Like, okay, so you add a new mission, you add a new raid. That new piece of content is sweet when you're playing it. But you're still going to have to grind strikes. You're still going to have to grind gambit. You're still going to have to do like other parts of the game, the leveling process, right? But now you can do that with a whole new subclass. So like you said, Tash, like having that cascading effect, like you can probably already think of certain activities. Obviously, I think Reckoning might be going away, but like, you know what I mean? Like certain strikes where it's like, you know what? That would be amazing for this strike.
The mind bender, bro.
Yeah.
Or the fanatic.
Yeah, fanatic freezing everyone who's spawning there all at once would be amazing.
That'd be nutty.
Yep. And we don't know yet how it interacts with other subclasses. We don't know if you're using solar subclasses with it, how's it going to play out? And are there combos of some sort, kind of like the Anthem system back in the day? Maybe not. But I think that this added diversity, we saw a little bit of the customization in the Vidoc. I'm obviously excited for all the new exotics, right? We know that there's like 12 exotics or something like that. It's
12 confirmed.
It's really hefty.
And something important to know is that you mentioned the subclasses are being redesigned, and now you're actually going to loot these items, and this item is going to be like when you one that we saw was when you detonate a stasis item, it sends out these seeking balls of stasis that damage and then freeze other enemies it hits. Right. So then you can chain off. And then there was the frag. Those are the aspects. They're bigger things like perks. You have fragments. There was one where it's you do more damage, weapon damage when you freeze an enemy and stuff like that. And so just the mixing and matching of those is pretty intense. It showed in the trailer, you had one aspect. I think it was that one I just mentioned where you had the seeking swarm things. It had 3 fragment slots. So you could equip the one where you do more damage when you freeze a target, and then equip another one where there was one where it's you make a bigger explosion when you shatter someone, but you get -10 strength or something. You can have 3 just with that one aspect, and I'm pretty sure you can have 2 aspects at the same time. So you could potentially have 2 aspects, each one with 3 fragment slots, having 6 different like fragment abilities going. The customization seems really, really intense. Like, and then you gotta think if you're doing this with stasis, do you guys think they're gonna go back and remake all the subclasses so that for gunslinger you have fragments and aspects for like everything that we currently have?
I don't think in the immediate future.
I hope they do.
That would be
maybe down the road. Yeah.
If you look at these subclasses and like the fragments, it's hard for me to want to go back to some of these old ones. Like the new ones look so sick. It's almost like power creep. It's like, shit, you better go back and fix those. Because right now, I'm going to the darkness. Sorry, Zavala. Like, I'm out. Trust me.
Yeah, it looks... and I think that's something a lot of people like underestimate. Like, again, like you said, we haven't had this since Taken King, where we had fully new subclasses. This is going to change everything. How you play the game and the combos you can find and how the current exotics work with these new subclasses. It's going to be wild.
Yeah.
So there's one thing I wanted to bring up. It's the beginning of the game. So they've remade like the intro to the game, right? The Red War isn't with the Cabal is not like the beginning of the game anymore. People are going to be waking up with the Cosmodrome just like back in Destiny 1. They've made a new NPC who's going to like guide you through the game from what I can tell. It kind of looks like Aztecross, which is pretty funny. But I think that is a big move too, because right now, if you're jumping in as a brand new Destiny player,
it's so confusing.
Oh, it is a joke. You don't know where the campaign is. It's like at Amanda Holiday in a weird part of the hangar you've never been to, and it's like, what's going on? So streamlining that is good, but also if we're doing the Xbox Game Pass, the DLC, Destiny's on the Xbox Game Pass, there's going to be a lot of new players. And so
a lot of new players.
Right? They needed to do something here so people actually jump in and keep playing the game past the first 20
understand,
minutes.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
But like you said, the Red War is kind of going away. So it's like, I think this is like Destiny 2 is, dude, they might like name change it to Destiny at some point. And like,
it's just Destiny.
It's just like this is the Destiny experience. Like, this is no longer necessarily a sequel. It's like an evolving world, and they're going to be bringing, so bringing back the older raids, like Vault of Glass is coming back. Woo!
Is Venus coming back? That's my question.
Like, there's nothing to say that they can't bring back like full planets as well.
Well, that's the thing. Well, like, because the whole idea is that the whole idea is that when they're taking these, the whole reason they had to take all these destinations out and not just like certain activities is because the thing that really takes up the most space is the whole palette that they have to build these environments from. So they have to take all of the destination out in order to really fit the space. So if they're going to create the Vault of Glass, I mean, they kind of have to have some of the Venus palette in there. I get, because the whole like opening sequence, in order to open up the door, you're out in one of the public areas.
Yeah, that's actually a good point. Actually, I forgot about that. I mean, they could just cut that part out and you just start inside. Like, it wouldn't really make that big of a difference.
You don't have to raise the spire.
Yeah.
Construct the spire.
But you're
right. Maybe they just add like a new little puzzle. You know, time has passed. Maybe, you know, there's some new tech that they got a new door, and you know, it's tough to say. And I'm really curious how they will evolve the raid. It's not going to be identical. There's no way it's going to be identical.
No, but it's going to be pretty close. I feel like if it wasn't very similar, then it kind of defeats the purpose of like bringing it back. It's like, well, then just do it. I don't know. I am excited for the loot. Like, are we gonna have D2, Fatebringer, Vision of Confluence,
Praetorian
Foil, Praetorian Foil, all pretty much every loot piece in there slapped. Yeah. But forget Destiny, dude. We play Destiny all the time. We talk about Destiny all the time. Let's talk about some of this other stuff. And
thank you,
Twitch. So we are like unofficially sponsored by Twitch because Twitch screws up so much. Twitch does dumb crap every week. Like, stuff that you're like, how did this go through multiple layers of people to get approved and put out?
Yeah.
So much. Like, our podcast, like, a huge shout out to Twitch for just constantly giving us something to talk about. Because I'll just explain for the viewers watching who don't know what's going on. So, and I'll throw it at TV because you just read up on it. Essentially, Twitch is introducing something new called like celebrations, where you have a celebrate button, and it's essentially just a way to donate. Like, that's really what it is. You celebrate just $10, or you celebrate with the streamer and you give them some money. Now, what's the problem with that? The problem with that is the celebrate button, because it's Twitch's idea. It's going to be promoted very heavily, and you're not really doing anything when you're celebrating other than donating. There just might be a little animation or something that goes in chat. It's going to be pretty minor. And then people looked into it and found that when you celebrate, it's a 50-50 revenue split with Twitch. So Twitch is essentially going after people's donations. Whereas normally, if I wanted to give $10 to a streamer, I would just give $10 to a streamer. And when you do, your $10 goes from you to the streamer, and it kind of cuts out Twitch. Twitch and good old Jeff Bezos sitting there with $1 trillion and paying 0 taxes. I pay more taxes than Jeff Bezos. He sits there and he goes, I need some more money. And he calls up Twitch and says, I don't like it how Mtashed, and I just saw someone give Mtashed $15, and we didn't see any of that, bro. That's not gonna happen.
He spent it all on anime women, and I didn't get nothing.
This is a bull.
Here's the thing: they already did it with bits, though. Like they already did this with bits, where they're just like, "Oh, you want to donate? Let's do a fun little thing." And now they're like, "Oh, now let's celebrate as well." It's like
it's totally different, guys. It's really different.
Right? It's like
you're still gonna. I mean, you're just gonna pay money to us. You know, we'll take some of it, half of it, and then the streamer will get the rest. Yes, it's just it's totally different. And that's the thing. It's like there is no other way you can sell this. There really isn't. It is 100% Twitch saying, "Hey, they're making a lot of money off donations, and we want in on it. Yep. We want in on it." And this is the thing. As a Twitch streamer, what you have to do if you're going to put your donation link on your page, what you have to do is you have these tiles underneath your stream window. So, your chat would have to stream or scroll so that your gameplay goes up. They don't see your gameplay anymore and it's interrupted, and they have to go and find your donation link in the tile, and then they can scroll back up and watch your gameplay again. It's all, but with this, it's like, you don't have to interrupt your viewing at all. When you celebrate with the streamer, we're going to put the button right there next to the subscribe button. So you don't have to, it's front and center. You click that button, you can send your money. And, it's just a little widget pops up on the side. It doesn't have to interrupt your viewing pleasure at all. It's so scummy, if you ask me. It is so scummy.
This is freaking, it's like predatory, because what it's going after is it's going after people who are more casual viewers and they don't necessarily know the ins and outs, right? Mm-hmm. Because, with our podcast as well, we have the option to become a member, right? And it's just a little join button next to the subscribe button, I believe. But when we go to members only chat at the very end, we just do like a Q&A period. A lot of people are like, well, how do I become a member? How do I become a member? And then when we post, we've noticed when we post the link, instead of just clicking the join button, a bunch of people join. I give that example because, like, if you're just casually watching, especially like if you are on a mobile device where that join button is not right there, and you wouldn't necessarily know kind of what's going on, a lot of people are going to think the celebrate button is just the donation button. They're like not even going to know that the streamer is only getting 50% of their donation. Right. They're not going to again, they're watching on a cell phone. They're not going to they're not going to scroll all the way down to that little tile where the donation button is. It's like you're preying on these people that are a little bit more casual. They're not realizing the ins and outs, and they are going to have absolutely no clue that they're essentially screwing over the streamer.
50-50 is just it is a ludicrous, is absolutely ludicrous number. I mean, you really unpack that. Really think about that. Think about the fact that when you are watching a streamer that you enjoy and you really want to support them, what's Twitch doing other than providing you a space? They're providing you nothing.
Twitch is deleting their content via DMCA claims and then banning them for being non-toxic. That's what Twitch is doing, all right?
And
you are enjoying. Yeah, go ahead.
The thing is like Streamlabs has been doing mine forever, and like I'm using Streamlabs OBS. Like they made the program that I'm streaming now on my Twitch and this podcast. All of the alerts are on there. They're facilitating the credit cards and the purchases, and they take I think it's 7%. It's like, what are you doing, Twitch, that you need 50%?
Oh,
that's insanity. God. You're taking ad revenue. You're automatically putting stuff. You're taking sub revenue. You've got now 2 buttons, the bits and the regular donations. Like, what are you doing? If you're not providing any value there.
You know what the value they're providing? They're putting sombreros over people's emotes
Oh my
for
god.
Latino Heritage Month. That's not a joke. Twitch actually did that and thought that was a good idea. We talked about it in a previous episode. Like that's what Twitch is coming up with to improve the user experience. And then they're like, you know what? For that, we're gonna
We
take
deserve more
50%.
money.
Yeah, whoever signed off on the
Good
sombrero
job,
idea
huh?
was like,
All right.
we deserve some more revenue here.
All right, let's
Like,
stop bagging on Twitch so much. I want to get in.
no, hold on.
What
I
do you
gotta say
got?
one more thing.
Okay, fine.
Like, we've talked quite a lot. It's like we've said this before. We've said it. It's like, what is the straw that breaks the camel's back? And it's like, dude, like Twitch is just it is like we joke, but literally every week they do something like really bad. Like we talked about them like going in and people Twitch staff were like making comments to try to get people to like getting around the sponsored streams, and now they're taking 50% of your donos, and it's like if a lot of people, because this is introduced, may just notice the revenue dips, and maybe they're just, I feel like at some point people are going to jump ship.
Yeah. And I mean, if you look at the growth of YouTube content creators, if you look at Valkyrie, who's getting, crazy viewership, Courage, I know that the bigger people, but even this podcast, there seems to be an algorithm that starts sharing this podcast as we go live. People are looking at gaming. They see there's a gaming podcast. It does seem to work. So I think that YouTube is definitely a good option. Facebook, Ryan's on Facebook, and you were just saying today that the algorithm and Facebook just really popped off this week for you.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing. Like, you think about the fact that YouTube has been around for a lot longer than Twitch. Their algorithm is a lot more fleshed out. I mean, I think they understand how those processes work a lot better than Twitch does. Twitch doesn't even try to leverage a crazy, interesting algorithm to help promote smaller content creators at all. It really is just whoever's on top is on top. But then you've got these other places that are like, listen, if you come over here, we're going to help you out with visibility. We're going to help you out with discoverability. YouTube's been doing it for decades, Yeah. And so I think that honestly, people are going to start to pick up on that. They really, really are. And so, I mean, YouTube's got a great search engine optimization, feature. So becoming known is much more possible on a platform like YouTube. Even on Facebook, Facebook has, what is it? Like, I want to say it's something like 300 times the number of active users as Twitch does. There's a lot more people over there. There's a lot more people for you to reach.
Well, 90% of them are boomers, though. But
hey, you know what? You know what boomers have in common? They work for a living and they have wallets with money in them, baby.
That's okay. Oh my god!
So you can stream to 1,000 10-year-olds and make nothing, or
hey, don't come at Mtashed like that. Come on,
boomers. You can stream to 100 boomers who are like, I like your concept, man.
True, dude. And you know what? At least the boomers aren't being taken for a ride, and unbeknownst to them, Facebook's taking half their donos, for God's sake.
Yeah, see, Ryan's got the biggest brain of all of us. He's like, I'm getting the hell out of here. I don't want them seeing all my...
Exactly, dude. I mean, honestly. But I'm going to disagree with you a bit, Tash. I think the reason we're getting, this podcast, we do well with viewers, is because you scroll by YouTube and you see a thumbnail of 3 absolutely hot dudes, and who isn't going to click that? Come on.
Fair enough.
All right,
So I wanted to move on just because we do have a lot of really juicy topics today, and I want to hammer in all of them, right? Cyberpunk delayed for the 6th time. This is another big delay. We are getting pushed back from November 19th to December 10th, so 20 days, half a month. And I know that myself, sighing a bit of relief because it was 2 days before the Destiny raid. And I really wanted to cover Cyberpunk. I really want to even just enjoy the game and not be stressed by other games. And so that getting delayed, selfish reason why, I'm really excited for it. But they're getting death threats because it got delayed. Like, apparently there are just people absolutely foaming at the mouth because of this delay, attacking CD Projekt Red.
Yeah, it really didn't help that Cyberpunk. Like, if you look by there's so many other tweets to people are like, I want to make sure, like, I'm booking this day off. You're not going to delay again. And they would reply and be like, nope, no more delays, right?
Yeah.
They did not help themselves in that regard. But it's truly not that long, and it also didn't help that like they made a couple of memes. I remember they made that with the same like text, and it was like a meme that it baited people to think they were delaying, but they weren't actually delaying, and they're like making fun of the fact that and then they did this, and it was not a meme, and they actually did delay. So they certainly didn't do themselves any favors, honestly, in how they kind of handled it. I think they should have always been like, we're aiming for here, but you never know. We're aiming for here, but you never know. But yeah, it's one of those things where if it's truly anywhere near the game that people want it to be, like, of course it's being delayed. This game looks insane. The stuff you can do is insane. It's gonna be like The Witcher times a million. Like,
That's right.
It's like I'll wait as long as it takes. I want it to be good. I don't want them to like rush it out and it's like buggy. Like, do you want Fallout 76? No, dude. You want a polished game.
That's right. Yeah, and I think most of the diehard fans are pretty on board with it. Basically, anybody who has a genuine functioning brain has been okay with it. You always get that vocal minority, but the problem is they yell so loud, which is unfortunate. Right. But I think most of us are on the same page when it comes to the Cyberpunk delay. Like, this is overall, it's not a big deal. We're gonna get our hands on the game a little bit later, but that does also give us more time to soak up some of the content that's dropping across a lot of different titles, here in November. So I'm really, I gotta say, again with Mtashed, selfish reasons, but yeah, I was actually really happy to see that because now I've got something to look forward to in December.
Yeah,
it's one of those things where it's like, I will say though, it's weird. Like, they just, like, again, they did not do themselves any favors. Why not give them some extra time? Like, why you keep having these release dates that you keep missing? It's like, instead of being like, we're gonna miraculously get everything done, like, just do what you think you're gonna do it and add 6 months and have like an easier development. Like, there's no reason this has to be a launch title, to be honest. Like, it has so much anticipation. There's really no need for it to have released when it did. It could release in March of next year, right? I don't know why they didn't give themselves a little bit more time. They keep going for these clearly unrealistic release dates and missing them, and then like pissing everyone off.
Yeah, and we kind of said it before. It's like they can release whenever they want, and it'll still be one of the most purchased games ever because everyone's like, "All right, I gotta see this." Right?
That's the confusing
hype is
part.
Insane.
It's not Call of Duty. Call of Duty can't just come out next year, right? You know what I mean? Like, Call of Duty has to hit that window, and the developers of Call of Duty know that, so they plan accordingly. But like, Cyberpunk it doesn't need to be a launch game. It doesn't need to release. It can release whenever. It's just very confusing that they didn't like just give them. They've been giving themselves 7 years. Like, just give yourself a reasonable release date. I don't know. It is kind of confusing how they've handled it. But obviously, it's like, dude, you giving the death threats to the dev that's like, coding the animations. This dude's like, it's not this guy's fault. You know what I mean? Like,
and they just got into the drama with the crunch. Like, just last week we were talking about that, and then it's like, oh no, we are delaying, and it's like, well. Okay, like you're I don't know.
It's should have crunched sooner and more, dude, I guess. Like, I don't know.
It's too bad that it is getting delayed. I know that people are upset. They wanted to play it. Going into December, closer to Christmas as well. Like, maybe people are away or different things. But maybe it's closer to Christmas. You got a little bit of time off maybe for Christmas, and now you get to play Cyberpunk and it's nice and fresh and hopefully way less buggy. Because that's the thing, it's like, well, it got delayed and I wanted to play it then. It's like, okay, but you would have been playing a buggy mess. So you wouldn't have been playing as good of a game. So you gotta just kind of accept it, and just when the game's ready, it's ready.
But and it's one of those things where they can't win. Like, it's like people are saying, oh, it's because it's trying to come out on this older hardware, right? People are like, oh, it's coming out on the older gen consoles, like, and so that's why it's screwing everything up. But if it didn't, it was like, hey, we're cutting out the older gen consoles. We're going to focus on being next gen only. People would be even more furious if people were like, are you kidding me? You made a promise and you broke your promise. Like, it's like they're just in a rough spot.
Now, speaking of rough spot, Halo Infinite in trouble? Question mark. So we saw an article a while ago talking about there being some delays. We saw Halo Infinite get delayed. It was supposed to be a launch title for Xbox, and it's delayed like a year, which is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
And now we're seeing one of the biggest people on the project leaving. Jason Shear, is it Shear? He just did an article saying
he left, and then they brought him back, and now he's left again, right?
That guy, yeah.
Yeah.
So
like,
what the hell is going on
nuts.
over on Halo Infinite? Is this creative differences? Is this, someone coming back in, looking and being like, oh my God, this is messed up, getting back out? I don't know what's happening here, but Halo Infinite seems to be in major trouble.
Yeah, there's a trend here. Whenever you have someone, and I mean, obviously there's exceptions, but usually when it's a situation like this where someone is brought back, they come into a project that was something that they love, they were passionate about, and helped spearhead the development of previously. Usually when they peace out and say their goodbyes before the product ever ships, it's usually because there's a pretty big shift away from some of the original core values, the original core designs, and the direction of the game, who they're targeting, right? All of those things play a major role. So if this was something like, hey, this guy just had a lot of personal stuff going on, he decided to leave, they would come out and say it. I mean, they'd be like, hey, we're so sorry to see him go. Really excited about what he brought to the table. Unfortunately, and he would make a statement too, like, listen, guys, I'm so in love with this, and I highly endorse it. You guys are going to love this game when you get your hands on it. Unfortunately, I have to leave. You know what I'm saying? There was none of that. It was he's gone, by the way. So this to me just smells so much of internal conflict. So this guy does not believe in this product anymore. He does not believe in the direction of the game for one reason or the other, and he has politely excused himself from the project.
Did he? Did he?
Go ahead.
Did he walk into a meeting and they showed that one character that
the brute, the monkey,
and they're like, "What the hell is this?"
I'm out.
Yeah, he sees this game and he's like, "Nope, I'm not part of this anymore."
Listen, everything you said, TV, was right, but it's ×2 for Halo because that all already happened, and then think of how much money or whatever they had to pay this guy to come back. He already was like, I'm peacing, dude, I'm out of here. And then they're like, please come back 2 years ago, save Halo Infinite, we need you.
Craig needs you. Craig,
dude,
Craig the brute.
We need you, dude. And then he comes back, he sees this brute's face every night in his dreams, and seriously, 2 years of him coming back, and then he's like, I'm gone again, bro, I can't do this. So, but that's very bizarre. Like, they could have brought it back saying, like, we'll follow your vision, bro. We got you. And then dude, again, the fact that this happened twice is very concerning. And we also talked about it when it originally got delayed. Like, I've never seen a game get delayed so much. It kind of just kind of blew it under the rug almost. It's like, we're going to be delayed till 2021. And it was like, what? Holiday 2021 is the delay? It's like, they were going to come out this year. And they're like, they pulled a psych. We need a whole nother year. Dude, Cyberpunk needs like a month and they're getting death threats. Halo was pieced out into a whole different holiday season. Like, what is going on over at the Halo Infinite? Yeah. Not good stuff, that's for sure.
It's almost... Sorry, you can go.
I was going to say, Jason, is it Schreier?
Yeah.
Yeah. And he said, he tweeted this verbatim. I can confirm, based not on assumptions, but on conversations with the developers, that Halo Infinite has been having development issues for a long time.
Yeah.
And it almost smells like when Halo, like, apparently they did that super cut, of Destiny. They did, at the very beginning, they did, like, the super cut, and they went to Activision and were like, all right, this is our idea for Destiny. And they're like, no, we don't want it. Change it. And they're like, what? Wait, what? Is it something like that where... Here's the vision for the game. Here's how we want Master Chief. And they're like, no, give him a grappling hook. And they're like, I don't think our players want a grappling hook. No, give them the grappling hook. Trust us on this one. That what's that guy? The Doom guy? Yeah, the kids love that these days.
Kids these days like that Pathfinder fellow from that Apex Legends game. Give Master Chief a grappling hook.
Yeah, and you know that Craig guy? He's gonna be the new main character. Like, I don't know. I'm very curious to see, and I really hope. I hope we get the juicy details on what went wrong. I think from the first release, people kind of looked at it like, this is Halo Infinite? Like, this is what they're working on? There were some people that definitely defended it, and they defended the graphics, and they're like, oh, it's really like classic Halo. And it's like, no, the game just isn't done, bro.
Bad.
The game's not even, there's no textures in the game, brother. Like, this is MS Paint, copy and paste. I put a little mountain in the background, and
with the big brute at the end where he's like, I am your salvation, or whatever, like classic villain. Like, I swear, like that guy, you could take his speech and give it to like all these different trailers for like Warhammer and like all these same games for the big villain in it. But like his like teeth were like just 1 pixel each of just or sorry, like 1 polygon each of like a perfect triangle and stuff. And I'm just like, dude, this is like PlayStation 2 graphics. Like, what is going on over here? And this is supposed to be the big next gen like thing. It's just so bizarre.
Speaking of next gen, Google Stadia is trending.
Oh,
is that because Google Stadia has?
Before we get onto that, Tash.
Wait, what?
I think it's time to talk about our sponsor.
And who would that be?
Oh, the OS of the OG coming at us and helping us out before we were even a thing. Before this podcast existed, our boys at Advanced GG coming out here with those amazing, the only clinically proven gaming supplements out there. Yeah, you can have other gaming supplements, but are they clinically proven? Do they have the same content of vitamins and actually good stuff to keep you awake and not have you crash?
They're trash. They're trash.
They're trash. Get out of here. All right, we only do the best.
All right. Advanced.gg, use code RGH to get 10% off. Links are down below. Well, actually,
easy.
Are they? Yeah, they are. Oh, yeah, they're down below. All right. So click the link.
You remember to put them in this time, Dash?
Listen, that was one time.
Dude, but before, I say really quickly about Halo Infinite, like, it's kind of strange. Like, there's definitely hype, but I think it's one of those very interesting things where you've got to ask the question, did them coming out and like revealing the stuff do more harm than good? Because kind of the only thing that happened was like people looked at it, and just made memes out of it and were like, oh, this kind of looks weird. Like, it didn't look horrible gameplay wise, but it didn't look like it's. Does it even have the same hype behind it as Cyberpunk?
No. I would say, I would agree with you. It did not generate hype. It may have kept interested parties somewhat interested, but it did not take people who were otherwise disinterested and make them interested.
Exactly.
It just made more question marks.
And so that you then got to ask the question, like, obviously they weren't ready. Like, they delayed an entire year and their top guy just yeeted out of the company. They were not ready. So is this maybe like looking like Microsoft needs to look at themselves in the mirror and be like, we probably should, because I feel like Microsoft was like, you are going to have a presentation ready. We are got to get it out in time for launch. And it did not help. Like, it did neutral or hurt.
My hype was like only like a 6 because I've had a lot of faith issues in Halo. And watching that, like, I was like, oh god, like I was like down to like a 3. I'm like, if it comes out and people are hyping it, like, I'll try it. But I think Halo is kind of a dead franchise. It doesn't pull viewers anymore. No one, like, unfortunately, no one's watching any of the Halo stuff, even the tournaments that were going on for Halo 5. I think Halo 5 had some strengths. No one's interested in the game anymore for whatever reason. No. I don't know if it's the superstars that are surrounding it. I mean, people like Snipedown, right? Snipedown was one of the big MLG guys. Ninja with Halo Reach. Ninja was one of the big guys. A lot of these players have moved on to other games. We've got Ninja. He went to Fortnite and other games. Snipedown is playing Apex Legends. There's just other great shooters that are out there. And I think Halo's is kind of like old news.
Yeah.
The problem with Halo to me is that for a long time, it just hasn't given talented players the opportunity to showcase how talented they are. there's too many parameters in the Halo titles, and quite frankly, I've played a lot, and I'm not exaggerating. I have played a lot of the remastered versions of the earlier titles too, with the Master Chief Collection. Do that with my friends, and I'm always just blown away. Like, man, I used to love this game, but it just did not age well. And in the current landscape of gaming, Halo is just, it feels, its charm was in its kind of being classic, but you can only ride that for so long. And so without the innovation to make it feel more like a current generation game, it's just going to get left behind. And that's kind of how I felt when I picked up Halo 5. I was like, I mean, it feels like another Halo game, but it's just kind of trying to be classic too much. I want something that's really brand new and innovative and exciting.
They have the impossible task of trying to keep it classic Halo so that all the fans are happy, but also trying to at the same time reinvent the wheel to reinvigorate this franchise. Like, I certainly don't envy the development team over there. Like, that seems,
it's almost impossible. Hey, as soon as I saw the grappling hook, I'm like, all right, where are we going with this? You know, how's that going to play out in PvP? Like, it just, I don't know. It's really tough for me to get hyped about the game. It's like in stasis. Beyond Light. It's in stasis with like the way the game is viewed and the way the game needs to be. Kind of what you said is, it's like, if they change too much, it's not Halo. But if they don't change, well, no one's playing Halo. Yeah, no one's no one's touching it. So
one caveat, the thing that will 100% help is if, and they kind of did confirm this, that when it comes out, the multiplayer will be free on Xbox. Which, make it free and say you can play Halo for free. Dear, even if the game does just feel like classic Halo, a lot of people want that, and that would help a ton.
Yeah,
right.
I think they got to go the other way with it. I think what they need to say is, we love Halo. We believe in Halo. We love the universe that we have created with Halo, and we want to pay homage to that universe. But we're going to go a completely different direction. We're going to leave the Master Chief behind. His story has been told. We're going to move on to we're going to stay in the Halo universe, like create a new game, stay in the same world. New game, same world, right?
And it sucked.
We'll say what?
ODST sucked, dude. It was not that good.
ODST was not. ODST did not suck, and it was only $30 on launch because they didn't sell it as a brand new title. So don't give me. But Firefight was actually a major success. So you cannot deny the numbers on Firefight were actually a pretty.
I'll deny it all
pretty
I
big
want,
success.
I didn't.
Hey, you know what? Some of us like facts, and some of us don't. That's fine.
I don't want to have to SMG a brute for half an hour to kill him, bro. That's not fun gameplay. That's stupid.
Do you know who?
If it took you half an hour, you were just bad.
Do you know who worked on that
I want to be Master Chief. You're wrong, TV. I want to be
a Spartan.
You get Halo to
be a Spartan.
Master freaking Chief, dude.
No.
That's who you recognize. He's like, honestly, brand recognition with Master Chief is up there with Mario. Like, that's how it's huge.
No.
Yes. Yes, dude.
Master Chief is a compelling character.
Master Chief, Halo. That you know what I mean? No, Sonic the Hedgehog, Mario, Master Chief, bro. That's it.
Maybe 10 years ago.
No,
did you just wake up from cryo sleep? You're just like,
listen.
Oh, Halo 2.
Maybe this is 10 years ago.
Listen, Mario is the face of Nintendo. Mario's the face of Nintendo. Master Chief is the face of the early Halo titles. That's it. You cannot. I mean, I'm a big fan of the Master Chief, but you cannot elevate him to that status. He's not that iconic.
I just did, bro. That's what he was. He was up there. He's one of the most recognizable video game characters of all time. People would see a picture of Master Chief and not know about Halo and know, oh, he's from video games. I've seen this guy before, right? Trust me. Nowadays, it's honestly, you probably are right. It's probably different. It's probably like the Fortnite guy that is like, exactly. First place, the Fortnite guy. Second place, the Roblox guy. Third place, Steve from Minecraft. So,
okay, let's move on from Halo Infinite. That game is like 4 years away. Anyways, let's talk about the quick Google Stadia drama because it was actually hilarious.
It was funny.
So, with all the Twitch DMCA, which we talked about the other day, they're stealing everyone's content, making everyone delete all of their stuff.
You actually muted me on stream, you little son of a...
I did? What? No one can hear you now?
I'm just kidding. No, but still.
One of the guys at Google Stadia was like, actually, I agree with this, and honestly, all of these game studios should be doing the exact same thing. If you guys want to stream their games, you should be paying them for licenses. And literally everyone said, "What the hell, you dumb boomer?
Are you an
Are
idiot?
you an idiot?" There is so much free advertising. Literally, the only reason some games exist and thrive is because some people streamed it. Case in point, Among Us.
Among Us.
Among Us had one player.
Before we get into this argument, it should be stated that this guy had in his bio creative lead,
Director or whatever.
Creative director at Google Stadia. In his bio, that's what he put. He tweets this tweet out saying, actually, streamers and content creators should have to pay a license in order to play games. His take is so bad, single-handedly, via him being roasted, Google Stadia, the words Google and Stadia start trending worldwide on Twitter. So this is where it gets even funnier, dude. This guy,
Google gets him on the horn. Like,
this guy turns out he's not the creative director of Google Stadia. He's a creative director at Google Stadia. Basically,
at a studio owned by Google Stadia.
Exactly. He's a creative director of some no-name studio I've never heard of this studio, and Google Stadia bought him. So think about this dude is such a moron. To look good, he tries to suss out a little bit. He's like, yeah, creative director at Google Stadia. Like, ooh, I'm so important. And then he has such a bad, and then Google Stadia is trending. Google Stadia has to say, like, we don't agree with this. And they must have called him up or DM'd him and said, take it out of your bio, you absolute
They're like,
moron.
We do not want our name attached to you right now. Yeah. And even like game developers were like, this is a terrible take. It was what it essentially was a guy saying, man, I hate that I work hard at video games and streamers are getting rich. That's exactly what it is. And whether he's right or not, right or wrong, I mean, that's a personal opinion. But his take stemmed from the fact that he sees creators making buku bucks because they build a community, they build a following, they're charismatic. And yes, the place where they do that is playing a video game. Sure. But it is a terrible take. It just stems out of jealousy. And it doesn't make sense. And like you said, like so many games, they absolutely love creators because they influence a lot of people. And so, I mean, that generates sales, that generates interest, that generates long-time viewership and playership on their stuff.
I mean, it's important to note also, like, okay, so the reason he made this point is that technically there's like, there's a when you sign the license agreement to play a game, when you sign the user agreement, there's technically, you can't duplicate that product. You can't necessarily like use it for profit, aka like burn the disc and sell it. And this, like, in the past, there was a question of like, can this be enforced on streamers? And it used to actually be enforced via Nintendo. If you made any sort of Nintendo content on YouTube, they would just take it down, and you had to then sign up to like to be a Nintendo like affiliate, and then you could actually share in that revenue. They would take like 20% or whatever. So Nintendo is actually super archaic with that. But more recently, because streaming is so big, there's like a clause that usually it actually says, like, I think for like Destiny, for example, you'll be exempt from that clause if you're streaming or creating content on it. Because like you said, you would have to be like, this guy is such a smooth brain to not see that. Like, it basically only does good. It's just more eyes on your product. Like, if there's streamers playing and enjoying your product, like you said, Among Us blew up because of streamers.
It's so good for the industry. Having big influencers out there being entertaining with your game is huge for the gaming industry. Everybody wins. This is a terrible take. Hey, by the way, what was his Twitter banner?
Can I explain this one?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, that's why I asked you.
So this guy comes out with this take, gets Google Stadia embarrassed, and it just gets roasted. Jacksepticeye, a huge content creator, like multiple, I don't even know what he's at, like 12 million subscribers, probably more, 20 million, something insane. He notices that this Google Stadia guy has a banner that's actually a fan art that someone made of Jacksepticeye playing one of the games that he had created. And best part, he cropped out the creator's little name tag. So he stole Jacksepticeye's fan art, he cropped out the name so there's no he gives what's the word? He gives no acknowledgement of this other creator and just puts it as his banner. And Jacksepticeye called him out on that. It's like, oh, it's pretty ironic that you're stealing from content creators and you're accusing us of stealing. Right. So it's like, and the how's that moron not really? If Jacksepticeye was playing one of his games, I guarantee, and that's obviously why he took that banner. He's probably like super happy at the time.
Yeah.
And
what an idiot.
Mike,
and the
Mike, you want to say something?
Well, it's kind of like with the DMCA and the music. It's like his thing is like archaic, but no one is going and like here's the background music. There's like a Jay-Z song playing, and they're like, I'm going to watch this streamer so I can hear them talk over that song, right? More often than not, they're like,
right.
They're like, damn, okay. I hear
Clip it, download it.
Right? I hear a beat in the background. What is this? They're asking about it. They're getting that interest in the song, which they might not have ever heard. If I open up my Spotify and I start playing some beats, the amount of times when people go, damn, what is this song? What is this song? Song, exclamation point music, exclamation point song. Constant. It's actually constant. And we're putting that in front of people that they might not ever hear that song otherwise. Same thing with a game. There's games out there that you got to experience for yourself. And even with Among Us, it's like, yeah, you can watch people play Among Us, but that's not going to be the same as getting some of your friends together. And that's one of the reasons why it went so viral. It's one of these games that, the people playing it make the content. There's little mini games and stuff, but it's you and your friends. It's you trying to trick your buddy. And, there's so many games out there that even the way I'm playing it, it's going to be completely different than if you tried it yourself. Terraria. Games like Minecraft. My world is not your world. My experience is not your experience. And getting that in front of people, I think, is valuable and it piques interest. One of the big ones for me was Slay the Spire. I think the game was already out for like a month or so, and I had never heard of it before. And I saw it. I played it. Another big one, Dark Souls. So do you know Lobos, like Lobos Jr.? He's done lots of speedruns and stuff. I didn't know what it was, and I watched him play it, and I was like, okay, this game is sick. Like, right when Twitch and YouTube were, like, just starting, like, I didn't even have a channel yet. I was watching him play Dark Souls, and I'm like, dang, this game looks wild. And the only reason I played that game is because I watched someone else playing it.
That's
Another quick thing, like, to that point, it's not just you're watching a streamer, and they're enjoying themselves, and then you want to play that yourself. That's a huge part of it. But another thing is like the guide wise, like in the past, statistically, if you got confused or stuck at a part, and what would you do? You'd have to like go to GameStop or go somewhere and like
go to
buy
Walmart
a guide.
and go into the
Like,
guide section.
like what were you supposed to do? A lot of the times you just quit playing that game. And that's not good. You get frustrated or stuck at a part, you quit playing the game. And nowadays, because games are like live services, like, that's a really, really, really bad thing. And now it's like, oh, you get stuck at a part, you don't know how to get something, look it up on YouTube. There's a content creator, myself or whoever else that's there with a guide to let you get that, to help you with that part. And that's another huge part of it because that improves your experience. Or like they'll watch a video on, hey, this is a really good hand cannon, or this is something you should do to improve your game. Then they go back and they use a different loadout, or they try a different tactic, and then they're better at the game. And again, maybe they would have quit before, but now they perform a little bit better, and then they really kind of get, addicted to it. Yeah. And it's like, and sometimes I guess games get like crapped on from creators and die, not necessarily even because of it. It just doesn't help. I swear though, like, even then, people want to try these bad games just to try them because the creator is talking about how bad they are. Like, it kind of piques an interest, whereas normally they would never buy it.
Like, could it be that bad? Is Fallout 76 that bad? And then you download it and you're like, whoa,
it is.
Like, honestly, that is a great example. I swear so many people tried Fallout 76 just because they were like so
because
curious.
there was a meme.
I couldn't
Yeah.
believe it. I was like, "There's no way it's that bad." And then I play it. I'm like, "Oh, it's like 2 FPS. Like, oh, it's worse than
yeah.
Halo Infinite at this point." Like,
Yeah,
And
exactly, dude.
I mean, I get it all the time because a lot of times what I do with my content is I'm trying to create innovative builds, fun combinations to make the game a little bit more interesting. I get it all the time where people are like, I haven't played Destiny in weeks, but seeing you play this build that's just so silly, I'm gonna do it. I got that today. I saw a friend of mine, Slick, posted a clip on Twitter of him just doing something really silly with a really silly build this morning. And when I saw that, I was like, you know what, heck, I'm gonna try that on stream. So I took his build, I pulled it into my stream, and it really is just a really silly combination of things. It's not, there's no gun skill involved. It's just really whimsical, but we got a lot of really funny clips. And I had multiple people in chat who were like, that's so funny, man. I'm going to try that. Man, I haven't played Destiny in 2 weeks, but you know what? I'm going to pull that stuff out of the vault. I'm going to try that.
Did it involve Jotun?
Nope.
the king of
First time for everything, I guess.
So actually, you kind of were alluding to this, is like maybe a game dies earlier than it needs. I feel like Anthem was one of those games. Everyone hated on Anthem. There were some obvious major issues with Anthem, but if you liked Anthem, it was like you were the bad guy. Like I'm making a guide. I'm making a guide, and it's like, no, this game is trash. Why are you making a guide? I make a video where I'm like, Anthem's kind of sus. Everyone's like, yes, amazing. Every video that said Anthem was bad did 3, 4, 5 times better because people just wanted to crap on the game. And like the flying was pretty cool. The combo system was pretty cool. Did the endgame suck? Yes. Was the story average? Yes. But it's one of those games that like got mass hate. And
that was kind of weird in the sense that you're probably right. Like, dude, it was kind of interesting. Like, you know, watching its development, like there was people that were just, you know, the channels where it's like all they do is complain about gaming. And like every video is just like, this sucks. This sucks.
No.
They have thumbnails where you have the little red like crash, like stock market crash arrow. I love that. They got that little thing PNG into every. But some of those people, you know, obviously a lot of them made some really good points and make some really good content. But I saw those same people make entire videos that Anthem was going to have this loot box system, right? And I can tell you, you know, as someone who it was involved a little bit in Anthem's development, at no point did it ever have loot box systems. Like it just never was going to have it. And so those people that were straight up like had either false information or were lying for views and saying Anthem is screwed because EA is being greedy again. Like Anthem is one of the least greedy EA games of all time. Like everything was pretty much you could earn the in-game gold pretty realistically. It was not an overly monetized thing really at all. You know, the updates were free, all of that stuff, but it got roasted for stuff it didn't even do. And then those same people, as soon as it came out and had them problems, they jumped in it again. And everyone's like, yeah, fuck this game. So that was the only thing where I felt like Anthem got a little bit of an unfair shake, is it felt like people were like super thrilled that it was like had some problems and were like jumping on every problem. But like Tash said, I still enjoyed flying around and shooting missiles and triggering combos.
Yeah,
that was fun.
It was fun, man.
It was fun. And then it was fun to a point when you realize you're doing the same stronghold like 17 times in a row and you're like, all right. I got it.
And the only difficulty spike is give it 900% more HP and damage.
Exactly.
You're just getting one hit by everything. Like
1000%. So like again, we're not saying like Anthem is, you know, it was secretly good. No, it was bad. Like it did not have enough content. It was buggy as crap. You'd fall through the floor when you're doing cutscenes. But at its core, I think it was still a fun game, and it got a really unfair shake from people who just wanted to see it die, I feel like. But it might have these staging a comeback, boys, because today the Anthem like director and BioWare released an article showing the new and if you haven't seen this article, I don't know, maybe
I put it in the tweet. Yeah, I just put it in the chat.
You can check it out you just put it in the chat. Like it looks very different. One of the main things is that all the skills are going to be unlocked, whereas previously like a skill was tied to a piece of loot. But now they're all unlocked and you can mix and match these skills. There's skill trees being added into the game. The loot seems to be a little bit more simplified and meaningful. So from everything we saw, I was like, this looks good. This looks good. This looks good. Like, honestly, after the No Man's Sky debacle, where No Man's Sky is now bumping now, you can never count out another game again, dude.
That's right. No,
you
it really
can never
right.
count out another game again.
And the thing is like, if you can hate on Anthem's launch all you want, and you can roast it, you can make as many negative videos about it as you want. But wouldn't you want it to have a comeback? Or don't you want No Man's Sky to become this thing that it was hyped up to be? Of course, that's just good for us gamers. And maybe they're, maybe they give a discount to owners of the previous Anthem and say, hey, we messed up, free. Or it's half off automatically. I don't know what they're going to do, but I would love to see Anthem make a comeback, because that's just another cool looter shooter. That's more competition for Destiny, so they keep pushing that envelope. I mean, we've got Godfall coming out. I think that one might get a little buried and stuff, but we need competition for our favorite games.
Absolutely right.
Someone needs to rival Call of Duty so they can stop just going, new game, new game, new game, new game, old stuff. I feel like there's no competition for some of these games, and so they can kind of just keep messing around. League of Legends has had a awful, terrible power creep problem for ages. They release a new character that is absolutely busted, so they can sell the character and sell all the skins, and then they nerf it. And then they do it again. They do it again because there's no competition, and everyone's fed up. Everyone's annoyed with these systems. But who's going to replace it? Who's going to make a MOBA that's better than League of Legends, that's more popular than League of Legends, that has multi-million-dollar tournaments? I don't know if anyone will in the near future. And so without
that releases music videos of the KDA girls,
right? Exactly. And it's like, if there's no competition for these games, if there's no competition for Twitch, right? They kind of just do whatever the hell they want, and eventually it might turn toxic. Yeah, it's a monopoly, and it's got to be checked. It has to be.
Yeah, and the only thing though that would throw a wrench in this, in the $1 million question, is like, I think pretty much everyone watching would agree with me in saying, look, if Anthem does miraculously pull it back together and comes out with a good version, I think we're all going to be like, cool. No one's hurt in that. Obviously, it was disappointing. It wasn't good off the start, but still, I wish them the best. I hope they come out with a good version. But are they going to charge for it? Right. Is Anthem 2.0 going to be $20, $40, $60? Like, that's the $1 million question, because if they charge for it, they're going to lose a ton of goodwill. If they come out and if they go the No Man's Sky approach and just say, free update, Anthem 2.0, it's a totally new experience, it's a better game, I think that would really bring a lot of people back, and that would be a huge offering, right? Mm-hmm. But if they try to charge like $20, I'm sure that would help cover the development costs. But I think, again, you're throwing out too much goodwill. You got to like naturally build back the hype by getting all the people who are like somewhat interested in it, having a bit of fun, get them to re-download the game. If it's good, so many people didn't buy Anthem because they heard it was crap right off the bat, right? So if you come out with Anthem 2.0 and it gets a lot of hype and it's free and people start playing again, dude, people are going to be telling their friends 100%. Like, especially now, it's going to be on Game Pass. It's going to be an Xbox Game Pass. It's already on the EA Pass. Like, it costs like basically nothing to get right now. Mm-hmm. So if they come out with a good version, tons of people will start buying it. 100%.
Yep. And if it's got that redemption story arc and everyone's like, all right, well, if it made it as comeback, now I have to try it. I didn't try it the first time. I heard it was trash. If everyone's saying it's that good, I'm not going to be the one that does it. I'm not going to be the one that hypes it, because I already kind of was an advocate for the game a little bit. I said, I'm really enjoying it. I know that there's problems. And as soon as it started getting a little dicey, they're like, you made me buy the game. And it's like, bro.
And you got burned by that. Yeah, that's absolutely right.
No, I said I'm going to play. If it's good, I'll play it again, and I'll tell you it's good. I'm always honest. I said, like, it's trash endgame, but at its core, it's a fun game, but don't get it for past-gen consoles. That's what I said. I was right. I'm still right. I'm always right. I was kidding.
Oh my God.
But that's another thing, dude. A lot of the problems technically came from the fact that it was on the last-gen consoles, and it was a very innovative game. It had a lot of stuff going on. So... like, computers had a hard time handling it. So if they redo it, I think that would be a huge thing. And they do it for next gen only, I think that would be a huge help in getting that game technically around that speed bump.
Yeah, they can still do it. There's still nobody who has done really their core gameplay, the way that they did. There's still nobody out there that lets you be Iron Man with no limitations. I mean, Avengers came out, but you can fly around really small spaces half the time. It's really not the same. But to be able to have a full mech suit that you can customize and fly around in, like there's still nobody doing that well.
You cannot tell me those first time the first time you went to Anthem and you had a
fun as
squad
heck.
together and you were taking down a Titan together and you're like flying and like shooting it in midair and like going from one thing and shooting it and it turns and you have to like fly to another area and you're flying in between to like Nobody can tell me that wasn't fun, dude.
Yeah,
that was pretty
sick.
sweet.
It felt more fun than most like legitimate spaceship fighting games that I've played. I've done a couple where there's like I've played the Star Wars games and they're awesome, but I'm like, I get kind of bored. It was a very unique experience.
It was sick, but then when you killed the 40th Titan and got a green drop, you're like, oh, all right,
I'm done.
See you later.
Mm-hmm.
But that's that's not even a mechanic issue. That's like a incentive issue, right? And so, is that easier to fix? I mean, it's not like the flying system was broken.
I think it's also a mechanic. To be fair, I will interject here. I will say I felt like it was also a mechanic feature because eventually, once you got the hang of flying, like you didn't have anything that really pushed your flying skills to the max. Like that Titan, the way that it behaved, the way that it moved, it never really changed. So I would really love to see an environment specifically with Anthem, where eventually once you get to the end game, like you've really got to be an ace. Like it's going to force you to fly in certain directions and make certain maneuvers and pull some maneuvers that are really impressive if you're going to get to crit spots and things like that. Like I would love to see an end game that really pushes you as a pilot.
Like bullet hell almost.
The environment needs to come to match you as you grow through the game, and it never did that for me. The environment really stayed the same. My flying got better. The environment stayed the same, and eventually it did get boring. Like it was really cool flying around that Titan the first 10 times, but eventually it was like
they only had that one. Like they needed to have like more massive creatures that spawned randomly, like, and all of them had like exclusive loot and like all that stuff. But
that's pretty much it. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about on this episode, or are we pretty much
we're not quite done because I think it's time. What we're going to do is we're going to change it into members only chat. So all of you that became a member to support us, thank you. Thank you so much. And if you're watching, don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere because even though we're going into members only chat, you guys who are not members are still welcome. You can stick around. You can watch the podcast. And essentially, we're just going to be taking questions from the chat. If you want to become a member, there should be a link. Just click that join button, unlock emotes and the badge, and support the podcast. All right. So we're just going to be keeping an eye on that chat to see what kind of questions we get.
We do genuinely love this part of the show too. I mean, like half the comments on our last episode were actually about things we talked about in the after show. I don't know if you guys recognize that. I thought that was kind of cool. But this is part of the thing about having a live podcast is that you want to keep the main part of the show pretty linear. You're following an outline, you're following a certain formula. You don't really get to bounce off of chat very much, but we don't want people to feel like we don't see you and we don't value you. And so this part of the show is our opportunity to direct our focus to you guys and say, hey, we really appreciate that you guys showed up. We appreciate that you're supporting us, and we want to get to your questions and topics directly.
Yep. This just gives you that extra layer of like interaction with us. Also, if you guys have been watching the podcast, you're enjoying the podcast, this allows us to pay our editor and just kind of keep the channel alive. Kackis literally has been stealing all of our money. He bought a Gucci robe. He got
Versace robe. Excuse me.
I saw the other one. Your wife sent me a picture of the receipt. She's got our back, thank God, because we know about your spending. It's malicious.
Oh my gosh. Listen, I'm telling you, there's something wrong with the PayPal, and the money goes to my PayPal, and I just can't get it to you guys for some reason.
Okay.
It's just really weird. But keep joining, dude. I need that Lamborghini. I'm just kidding. In reality, we pay for the editor service, and we had to pay for the design, the emotes. We're getting more emotes, like all that stuff.
Right.
All right.
So we got a question here. How much does YouTube take out of super chats? I think it's 30%. That one's a pretty easy one. It's like 30%. But there's another one great down here that I wanted to answer. What do you guys think the future of streaming is? YouTube, Facebook, a new streaming service that's up and coming?
Not a new one. I'll say right now, there's no way.
No.
Like, there's no big player. I mean, Microsoft tried, and that did not go well. So
yeah, you need so much money to break into the scene. You need to build an algorithm. It is so prohibitively expensive. You have to get creators over there. You have to get people to care. Why? Why would I go watch a streamer on this new Brime or whatever the hell it's called?
Yeah.
Why would I go there when I could just watch a streamer on Twitch or on YouTube or on Facebook? And most likely someone that I know is popular, right? If I want to watch a cool Destiny PvP person, I got options on multiple websites. But like someone like True Vanguard is tried, tested, true Vanguard.
nice.
You know it's a quality product. So why would I go and try on this like, hey, it's me, John45. I'm on my 7th platform now. Hopefully I make it on this one. Right? I don't mean to
have it.
I don't mean to be rude to the little guy, but you have all of this talent on these websites already that it's hard to want to care about the other ones because it's like, well, it's
the
we've already
one
got the talent.
exception.
What?
One exception I'll say possibly, and I'm gonna go back on what I just said and say there won't be a new one. If Twitter does something, because Twitter's already such a colossal social media platform that like maybe they could do something, but would that even work? Would it be conducive? Like
that's the thing. Like
only maybe.
If anyone's going to break into the scene, it's going to be somebody that already has established themselves as a social media giant. Twitter's really the only other one in the conversation right now.
Literally the only other one.
And so I've actually said that a number of times. Like, hey, if Twitter came out with a live streaming system, I would take advantage of it. Like, I love Twitter. I'm a Twitter junkie. I'd be all over that.
You are, yeah. Twitter's most known for their bad takes, and so are you. So I think that'd be absolutely perfect to get.
Actually, statistics show that people get more followers if they're more attractive on Twitter, and that's why I have more followers than you on Twitter.
Do not.
It's not because of my takes.
I'm looking this up. There's no way, dude.
He's like doubling you. It's not even close.
Ah, dude, how do you have more followers than me?
Hey, now take a peek at mine.
No, I'm not taking it. Yeah, Tash sold his soul to the devil or something. I don't know how you have so many followers, dude. You only have like, dude, I'm like 10,000 away from you, TV. And
not for long.
I don't know.
10,000 is a lot of people. Here's the thing, but listen to this. Listen to this. You have nearly 1 million subscribers on YouTube. I've got 260,000.
You're not gonna make me feel worse now. Come on.
And I have got more Twitter followers than you. There's a reason for that.
You know
my bad takes.
Oh, okay. You know why? Because I'm self-made. I collaborated with nobody, dude. I tried grinded content till a million.
I tried to collab with you in D1 and you blew me off.
I don't remember that. I might be the first person to get to 1 million subscribers without like just soloing the entire way, dude. No CAC. That's why the CAC man is
that's good because no one wants to work with you. I mean, you single-handedly ruined how many of Mr. Fruit's videos in that Among Us section? Like 4? Listen, look, I'm going to explain this one. I don't think people know this. So we're playing Among Us. We've got Omrecker, we got Mr. Fruit, we got millions of subscribers on these channels. Huge. We're recording these games. Listen, we're recording these games, and he wants to play a little prank, okay? Mr. Fruit is one of the imposters. Those videos always pop off. Mr. Fruit and Kackis are imposters, and I was kind of sussing out Kackis. I'm like, something's wrong. And he's like, no, wait, listen, I'm going to show you why I'm not the imposter. I'm going to show you why Mtashed is the imposter. And I'm going to give him a little credit because he made a whole spreadsheet. He literally made a whole PowerPoint.
I made a PowerPoint.
It was great.
It was so funny.
It was going to be hilarious.
Ended with blaming Tash. It was perfect.
Yep, it was perfect because I was sussing him out. It was so good. But he's like, everyone, check this out. And he started streaming on Discord. And everyone's like, wait, why are you streaming on Discord? And the second everyone opened it, you just hear Fruit go, oh my God. Oh my God. Because he accidentally streamed the game and showed that they're the imposter.
He's the imposter.
Oh my gosh, God.
That's hilarious.
It was so good. It was so funny. I don't know if it ever made it into a video, but I want to go. I want to go back and see if I can find it. It was
even
good.
though I completely ruined Mr. Fruit's content there, I There's another video that I think is called like Among Us, but the imposters like can't vent or something. Or that's about me, dude. I had like so I made it back.
Okay,
Also, Tash,
fair
why don't you go make another video where you start crying again?
I
Someone
gotta
asked
pay
in
the mortgage
chat-
somehow.
Someone asked in chat, how do we keep
Ugh.
Twitch accountable? How do we hold platforms accountable? The best way that you can do that, quite honestly, is to use your voice and to use your viewership against them. So if you wanted to say, look, I don't agree with this, express how you feel about that on social media where it's relevant. But also, this is one of the things that I appreciated about Deej, who's now leaving Bungie. One of the things that he has constantly said throughout the years is, if you don't like something, if you don't care for a creator, if you don't care for a platform, if you don't care for this or that, the best way that you can show that is by not giving them your attention. Like, you pull your viewership away from them. If you have issues with Twitch, and really morally and ethically, you're having a hard time with it, still try and support those creators that you love as best as you can, but don't give them your viewership. If you similarly have really moral ethic issues with YouTube or Facebook and the kinds of decisions they're making, the best way you can do that is to not give them your viewership. Support the creators that you want to support as best as you can, because you love them and you care about them, but don't support the platform.
Don't use the Twitch Celebrate when you can donate directly, right?
Yeah,
You know,
Bingo.
stuff like that.
Someone asked a great question of like, what if the AAA multiplayer games like COD, Battlefield, and stuff went free to play? Like COD Warzone is doing well. What about those games? I mean, dude, Destiny 2 went free to play, and I think it's been like quite good. You know, the model, especially when it's this far along, of like you have to buy the game to entry, get rid of that barrier to entry, and then still have people buy the expansions. That's such a good idea. And
how many millions did Genshin make in 2 weeks? $100 million, their entire development in a week, or in 2 weeks. They got all their development costs in 2 weeks. Now, that's a gacha game, but you can't tell me, if you're playing Destiny, it's free to play, and they're like, oh, by the way, we've got a skin to make your helmet on fire, or your gun on fire, or have cryo stasis armor. I'll spend the $5 on a cool skin. I'll spend it, right? I will absolutely support them, and that's what I did with Path of Exile. I spent hundreds of hours playing Path of Exile, and I'm like, holy cow, I obviously love this game. I want to support the developers. It's that kind of goodwill that they've built, and I've put a bunch of money into it. What's the finger going? What?
The big difference is that you are 100% right, but all those games you mentioned, and the game I mentioned, Destiny, and True Vanguard, you've been playing a lot of Apex Legends, all of those are persistent games. Whereas Call of Duty can't be free to play if there's a new Call of Duty every single year.
Yes.
Right? Because like you just split the player base and it's just crazy. You kind of like want the old game dying off almost, and then everyone going to the new game. It's a totally different model. So like that's the games that are very persistent, that last for years and years and years, can continue to grow and take advantage of a free-to-play system. Like those are the games that can do it. But you know, for Call of Duty and Battlefield is not pumping out that many games. Maybe Battlefield could go free to play, but usually with those games, no, because there's too many of them.
Well, and it is what you said there is like, if with Call of Duty, if they keep replacing it and they keep having to learn this game and they're losing all their progress, I'm not going to go spend money on a skin if I know I'm going to lose my progress in a year, right?
Yeah.
You have to build that goodwill, and you have to feel like, damn, this is valuable. Like, oh, I'm really enjoying this game. I want to give back. And they can't do that if they keep turning it over. And
like, you're going to buy a Fortnite skin because you know Fortnite 2 is not around the corner, you know?
That's right.
Yes, exactly. And, you know, it's something you can take into new seasons of Destiny. It's something you can take into new seasons of Fortnite. They've had multiple, you know, big changes to the game. But if I want to go use my OG Black Knight and Red Knight skins and pickaxe, I can use them. I've still got them. I can go log in. My son liked Fortnite for a while. Jump in and play Fortnite with him. And I was using my old OG skins. It's still there. It's still accessible. Rocket League, right? There's a lot of different skins on the different cars. You can invest in those. Rocket League has gone free to play now. It wasn't always, but you know, new players that are joining that game, they might be more likely to buy a skin for their car because it's that value.
That's one of the things I love about Apex Legends. Yeah, all the content's basically free. I mean, for example, next week they got a brand new map, brand new character. You can download that update and play it without spending a single dime. But the skins they come out with are so freaking cool, and a lot of them a lot of them, like, they were there and then they were gone, and you had a couple of weeks window, and it's like to be there kind of thing. I've got some skins now that I don't take off because A, it's a combination of they look cool, and B, there's a pretty good chance there's no one else on the map running that same skin as me. And so they see, it's almost like you feel a sort of attachment to that thing. And I always feel totally fine about throwing money at the screen and with Apex because I'm like, man, I've got thousands of hours of entertainment out of this game and I didn't pay anything for it. So I'll throw some money at some loot boxes, see if I can get that cool skin.
You know what I've always wondered? If a game will ever I mean, I know we kind of talked about it with Diablo, is like marketplaces and games can be a little sketchy, and with CS:GO, there's different skins. But I wonder if there's ever going to be a game where they're like, all right, here's the new banana skin, or like, kind of like Fortnite. He looks like a banana. There's only 10,000 of them, and once they're bought out of the shop, that's it. But you can trade it with other people. Right, you could sell the skin to other people and create like a marketplace, and these companies would take like a percentage. But every Friday at 6 p.m., it's like there are 100,000 of this skin in the store, and that's it. Like different things like that, almost like an economy in there. I kind of want to see it happen, is like officially taking the CS:GO skins and also maybe even like earnable ones, where it's like if you have 100,000 headshots, you get like a skin. And if you were the first person, it would be like number 1 out of 1. And you're the only person in the world with it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And be like,
that'd be crazy.
This was the first person in the world to get this skin. And it was like almost like a trading card or something. I feel like
it's a cheater.
It's a cheater, yeah.
Yeah, that's the problem with that.
I feel like there's a lot of cool stuff that they could do with that, though. And different microtransactions to at least spice it up, Make it an interesting thing. I think that's the future. They got to start doing a little bit more with the microtransactions, because at some point there's going to be all these free games and you can buy all these different skins, and I guess the gameplay better be damn good, because if every game is free down the road, then
you're gonna only commit to one.
Exactly.
Or two.
You got to lock down your players, so that game better be incredible, or else they just won't even buy the skins, period. You won't get any monetization if no one's sticking around long term.
Someone asked, what do you think is going to be the best game of 2021? Cyberpunk 2077. Get it?
Yeah, I got it.
Who's gonna get delayed again?
Outriders is coming up in January, yeah?
Yeah!
That might be a fun one.
February.
Wait, did they say official date? January?
I forget. They did release official date.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't know when God of War is, Ragnarok. If that's in 2021, that's going to be a contender.
No way, dude. It's not even close.
No, you don't think so?
No.
I mean, they have the same engine. They're going to use the same engine assets, a lot of the same assets. I think they're closer than you'd think.
They just showed a symbol. Okay, it's 02/02/21. So what was that? February 2nd?
February
2021? Outriders? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, their Ragnarok's coming out in like 2022. That's my prediction.
I think that 2021, it might be bleed over from some of the console launches and Cyberpunk. Like, will something rival Cyberpunk? I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, I think that's gonna take like the market on like the traditional like single player game. It's just gonna be Cyberpunk. It's like The Witcher, where it's just like, what do you play? People just replay that so many times. It's so solid.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know about Elder Scrolls either, right?
Dude, I'm so ready for a new Elder Scrolls, bro.
I'm gonna live in that world. Like, I told my wife, like, I'm going in that office and I'm not coming out until I'm dead. That's the end.
I've got, I want to say, somewhere around 3,000 hours into Oblivion alone.
Really?
I loved Oblivion, man. Loved it. I thought Oblivion was a better game than Skyrim. Skyrim just looked better. Skyrim was still a fantastic game. Loved it, but
I loved all the quests in Oblivion.
Oblivion was pretty dope.
Do you guys think arena, the fight arena, and the everything, the thieves?
The Shivering Isles is one of the best DLCs of all time.
It's funny.
Do you guys think having Microsoft in charge is going to be a good or a bad thing for those games?
Do you know what my honest opinion is?
Go ahead.
I feel like Microsoft has been kind of kicking ass.
Yeah.
Like, they've been like embracing the meme with the Xbox fridge. I feel like they're with it for whatever reason. I feel like if my company got bought by Microsoft, I'd be like, okay, all right, this is the next step. This is the next level. And it seems that they know what their customers want. It seems like they're making pretty good progress. Their profits overall have been, really good. I have a lot of faith in Microsoft right now. So I couldn't see it getting worse. That's what I'll say.
Yeah. Elder Scrolls 76, let's just say. That might not be good.
Yeah.
But then there's that Starfield game too. I think those games are both like pretty far away, like 2022, 2023 even.
Right.
But yeah. Someone someone mentioned the comments and I just like there's a Godfall released another video of just a spear again, bro.
Did they do it again?
Yeah. No, sorry, it wasn't a spear, it was a sword. No cap. They released, it was literally just a sword and it just rotated and there was some guy talking like that sword of Excalibur is pulled from the muck of Il Dagul. And they were like, okay. And it ended. It didn't even like, what are the stats? What's the cool ability? Like, what's it do? Nothing. They did it again, bro. Like, but I can't hate on them because they finally did that IGN article where they showed off the stats. So
That's
I can't. They did that, but they still are doing that dumb crap. Like, what are they? I don't know. They keep doing it.
I just wish it was releasing a different time because it seems like my alley. Like, I love Dark Souls-y type dodging melee games, and then you throw loot in. Like, it seems like exactly what I would want to play.
I'm not gonna touch it because they're trying to compete with Destiny. So get out of here.
Yeah, you got to do what works for the business, right? But if I'm looking at the Google Trends and it's taken off, I don't know.
I don't think, no offense to Godfall, I don't think Godfall is going to be taken off on Google Trends. Oh. It's a $60, $70 because it's next gen traditional game. Like, it's not like Genshin where I can be like, yo, get Genshin, bro. It's free. We can play together too.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, fair.
Yeah.
It's going to get buried a little bit. But it might be one of those games where I just jump in on my own and enjoy it.
Like later on. I agree. Yeah. Maybe after the raid when I can breathe again, when I can like go outside again.
Yeah, exactly. Definitely excited though for the first time in a long time for Destiny. This break has been like literally game changer for me.
That Vidoc got me jazzed.
Oh
man.
Yeah, I think that Vidoc was like the final thing where I'm like on the train. And I just hope they can deliver. I think the Destiny fan base is like ready, for a good DLC. But you made a comment the other day. And I made a video about it. It was like, do people not realize the potential of this DLC? Like, do they not see the size? New subclasses is always huge. That makes every part of the game better. Like, it's...
I think the thing that isn't doing it any favors is what's happening is that people are comparing it to, like, some guy hit me up on Twitter and was like, you're still comparing this to Forsaken? You dumb idiot. And it was like, someone tweeted, it was like, oh, so in Forsaken we got this, and this. And in Beyond Light, we basically just get the new subclasses and like one other thing for new subclasses in the raid for $40. And it's like, listen, get a couple brain cells and realize. No, but seriously, like, you got to be thinking Forsaken came out when Destiny 2 still was like $60 or $40 or whatever. It was not a free to play game. That only started recently with Shadow Keep, right? So Forsaken, a lot of the stuff that it has listed there as like new strikes, right? And 2 new destinations, all that stuff, that would have been part of the free-to-play package. Destinations are now just expanding the free-to-play universe, and likely the strikes that come along with them, likely the free-to-play, the PvP maps that come along with them, right? All of that stuff is part of the free-to-play experience now. So, like, Beyond Light looks a little bit less in content, but that's partially because a lot of that content is going into expanding the free-to-play experience with, and yeah, that's not part of your $40 technically, but it improves the entire state of the game massively, and it's better for the health of the game, right?
Oh yeah.
So I think that like free-to-play players are getting like, dude, they must be loving Destiny. Like, every new season they get to play, there's like they get a new exotic from the seasons past at least and stuff. Like, there's a new planet they can play on and stuff. That's so wild.
Yeah. Can I do something really quickly? We didn't shout out any of the new members. Let's do that.
Go for it.
So Jay Dredgen was a new member. Christopher Sharp single-handedly funding our editing. $50 donation again from Christopher. Daryl Smock became a new gamer. Tristan Cuppet with a $2 donation. D Mendez with a $5. Got my popcorn ready. Midgar Flame with a $5. Patrick Schultz, Zoe, Kira, Trevor, all becoming real gamers. We got Judson Wadkins. There's some controversy for Halo Infinite 343 removing the primary and secondary color system for Spartans. Oh, interesting. So like the skin system for the Spartans seems to be going away. That's interesting. Nap with a Real Gamer membership. Steve Monthony, Jazia McElroy. We got another 20 bomb from Christopher Sharp. A 50 bomb from Christopher Sharp. $2,000. Oh, sorry. That's how much I spent on wishes in one evening for Genshin. Nicholas Conte as a new member and Cyanide Sprinkles. Thank you guys so much for supporting the podcast. We are now over 60 members. We have now passed the 60 member mark. That's incredible.
Nice.
Thank you so much.
Bang it, dude.
So hot.
We gotta get those new emotes rolling out.
We actually have 8 slots.
Can one be Tash
awesome.
crying and then one's Tash?
Go on. What's the next one?
I'm good. I said what I want to say.
One of them's gonna be me with a bottle upside down with nothing in it, just looking sad. Like,
yeah.
That'd be great. Thank you guys
Azrael,
so
by
much.
the way, I did see your question about the G4 stuff. I'm not privy to that. I haven't done my research, so I can't give you a good answer to that question.
Let me see. Where was that?
NVIDIA.
Scroll
up a bit.
I did a GeForce video. Basically, it's just like it's like a streaming service like Google Stadia, but it's not like Google Stadia in the sense that you don't have to buy anything. It just streams over the internet. So you download GeForce Now, and it like streams games to you. Like I was playing Destiny on it, and if I really paid attention, I could notice a little bit of lag, but it was nowhere near as bad as Stadia, especially like Stadia downstairs. Like in my living room was like pretty brutal. And then when I plugged Stadia in, like actually on my setup, it was like passable. And GeForce Now is better than either of those. So basically, look, get GeForce Now if you are going to, and you're staying in a hotel, you have to travel or something like that, or you're staying at a friend's house and you want access to your games, right? You're not going to be able to like, don't play Trials with it because it'll be a little bit of lag.
Right,
but like
right.
you can probably complete some quests and do some grinding and beat some strikes, like fine, right? It's free and you get to play for like hour schedules. I think it like kicks you off after the hour, but then you can like play for another hour right away. Or I don't know if it necessarily kicks you off. You just have to say like, I'm still here or something. Or it might kick you off. And then there's like a premium thing where it's like 5-hour sections. I don't know. They have a pricing model because it's like, they can't just make it free, but you can do it free. It might be a little bit annoying, but
interesting.
If you're at your friend's house and a new exotic quest came out, like, bro, it's better than nothing. That's for sure. You actually still be able to do it.
And there's a lot of games where input delay is not going to matter, right?
Yeah.
There's a ton of games where, it's turn-based or whatever, and it's really not going to matter. So I think it's a pretty good product. Especially if you are just like dabbling with it, you got to go check out Zur on the weekend or something.
That's literally like the
fun.
Perfect thing. Yeah, get GeForce Now free, and then you just use it to like check out Zur on your crappy laptop or whatever. Like that's perfect for that.
Yeah.
All right.
Any other last burning questions before we jump off? It has been an hour and 35 minutes, so
I think we're good. I think the only question is, what will Twitch do this week?
This week, that's right.
Oh, are they just gonna like publicly execute someone?
Oh my god!
Like at this point, bro, like no, but like, jeez, Twitch is out here wilding, bro.
Thank you guys so much for all the memberships. Thank you for all the likes and the viewership today, donations, members, everything. We appreciate it at the RGH podcast. Every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern, we talk about all things gaming, news, drama, juicy little leaks, whatever it is. And then we spend half an hour roasting each other. It's incredible. Thanks again. I'm Mtashed.
I'm KackisHD. Remember to turn to private at the very end. Or public at the very end.
Oh, yeah.
Talking about your privates? What?
Whoa.
No,
and I'm True Vanguard. Love you guys so much. Thanks for watching.
Yeah, thanks for coming, guys.
Thank you.